Hello, it's the Garden Wizard. In today's video, we're going to go over some of the most crazy and exquisite plants you could possibly grow in your garden this year that are more common than you think. The first thing that we're going to talk about today is the glow-in-the-dark firefly petunia.
The firefly petunia was created by scientists at a company called Light.bio, which they used genetic material from bioluminescent mushrooms that made them glow. At the moment, they've only come in white, but others have made hybrids, which are pretty cool, which have been posted to Reddit on the subreddit r/firefly petunia. If you want this awesome plant, check out Wayside Gardens, which sell these glowy plants. While firefly petunias bring a new burst of life for at least a year in your garden, this next plant will likely outlive your entire garden if cared for correctly. Meet
Number 2, bristlecone pine.
bristlecone pines are some of the oldest non-clonal plants in the entire world. The oldest bristlecone pine is Methuselah, which is approximately over 4,800 years old. This means that this tree was growing around the time Egypt started to develop. Pretty cool, right? The reason they live so long is because they are very slow growers and have very dense wood and bark to protect them from environmental conditions such as high winds and extremely cold temperatures, which you can find in western United States mountains where they grow. This tree would likely do very well in very cold gardens where almost no other plant can survive the extreme conditions. While bristlecones take a while to see a full-grown tree, this next plant will certainly give you a show of colors just a couple of years after planting. Meet
Number 3, rainbow eucalyptus.
Rainbow eucalyptus is a beautiful, fast-growing tree native to the Philippines. This tree will shed its bark, revealing colors of green, purple, blue, brown, and orange. It's gorgeous. It's not only the bark, though, that's beautiful. Their flowers, which look very similar to this, are very beautiful and can attract pollinators to your garden. They can grow 3 to 5 feet in a year and can reach heights of over 100 feet tall. If you want to grow it from seed, it'll only take 3 to 5 years for it to show its colors on the bark, depending on the health of the tree. Just make sure to plant it far away from your house because of how big this tree can get. Rainbow eucalyptus trees come from the tropics, but in the dry coastal areas of South Africa, you'll find a tree version of a houseplant you would not expect.
Number 4, the aloe tree.
Yes, this is real. Your trusty aloe has a tree form, and it even has medical properties similar to it. While this looks more like a bush than a tree, it can get up to 26 feet tall in optimal conditions, so it can look like a tree. There is a plant similar to aloe that looks more like an aloe tree called the quiver tree. It can get over 30 feet tall in optimal conditions, but doesn't have nearly as many health benefits. Plus, it's also quite rare. Thankfully, if you're not in a frost-free climate, both of these can be grown in a pot and brought inside for the winter. Like both the aloe tree and the quiver tree are known for their woody stems, this next plant is known for its strikingly red stems that are more visible once its leaves fall off in the winter. Meet
Number 5, the red-twigged dogwood.
The red-twigged dogwood is actually a shrub, unlike its cousin, the dogwood tree. This plant can keep your garden less gloomy in the winter and has an outstanding cold tolerance as low as negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 40 degrees Celsius. In May to June, this plant will bloom with flowers quite similar to this, so it's good in summer too. My only issue with this plant is it spreads through suckers underground and can invade your lawn and garden without pruning. But honestly, I'll take anything to make my garden less dreary in the winter. The next plant we'll be talking about also looks quite good in the winter with its light green foliage, but has a secret you may not know about.
Number 6, yucca. I know what you're thinking. I don't want that. That's gonna poke me. I've just got rid of it after 12 years of fighting it because it just can never die. Well, there is a reason why I suggest it. It's because of their beautiful flowers. It's like a giant version of lily of the valley stuck on this plant. I've never had one bloom before, but I'm excited for when they do. As you see here, I have a variety called aloe yucca. There are many other varieties such as Adam's needle, which is like kind of short and then has a giant flower stalk. And then there's the amazing Joshua tree, which you can find in Arizona in its own national park. It's pretty cool. If you do not want to get poked, all you have to do is just snip the tips of their leaves off and boom, you've got no more needles. But these yucca plants do not compare in size to Number 7, the ginormous baobab tree.
Baobab trees are no longer exclusive to Africa and Madagascar, but are more commercially available than ever. These gigantic trees have been growing in Africa for thousands of years, with hollow trunks so big that the inside of many of these have been used as shelter for animals and humans without killing the tree at all. Their amazing ability to store huge amounts of water can keep them healthy for months without rainfall. Don't forget, their fruits are also popular for having high nutritional content, including vitamin C, dietary fiber, and antioxidants. With these trees being more available now, you can enjoy their fruits and have a very unique tree in your yard that may outlive every other plant in your garden. Like rainbow eucalyptus trees, baobabs can get quite huge, so make sure to plant these far away from your house. While baobabs are known for their gigantic trunk, this next plant is known for its ginormous flower. Meet
Number 8, Tower of Jewels.
Tower of Jewels is a plant that actually looks like a smallish gray yucca for the first 1 to 2 years, and then grows its gigantic flower stalk that lasts several weeks to a few months depending on the growing conditions. It then proceeds to drop over 1,000 seeds onto the ground and dies. The seeds then sprout and the cycle continues. This plant has a lot to offer, from its giant flowers, beautiful foliage, and the amount of plants you can get after it self-seeds is astounding. This plant is also a pollinator powerhouse, and mainly attracts bees and hummingbirds, but butterflies also love it too. This plant will do great in mild climates, but in a colder climate like mine, you can actually grow it in a pot. The thing is, this plant stays relatively small before it flowers. You'll just need to support it when it blooms in late spring to early summer to avoid it falling over. While Tower of Jewels has a tall flower spike, there is one plant that has a flower spike so tall, it can get as high as a 2-story building. Meet
Number 9, the century plant.
These plants are a bunch of species of agave, particularly Agave americana, that produce such big flower stalks. It can, however, take 10 to 30 years for these plants to bloom, unlike Tower of Jewels' 2 to 3 years, so it's definitely a long-term investment for your yard. The plant uses up so much energy after creating these flowers that the poor plant dies. But not to worry, these plant both reproduces by seed and by offsets called pups right next to the mother plant. Then the cycle continues. These plants aren't exclusive to an arid climate either. They don't seem to mind tropical and subtropical climates too. This is definitely a plant that you'll only see bloom a couple times in your life. Now that we've talked about such a tall plant, let's shrink down at least 22 feet to a taller variant of a wildflower we all know and love.
Number 10, Rudbeckia maxima. As you saw in that photo, Rudbeckia maxima is just a giant version of the black-eyed Susan. Instead of getting around this tall, they can get like this tall. They're pretty big. I've got a seed packet here from Rustic Trails for these plants, and I cannot wait to get these into my garden this year. They're very low maintenance and can thrive in a variety of conditions in your garden. Well, what do you think of these plants? In almost any hardiness zone and climate, you can grow at least one of these plants. From the rainbow eucalyptus to the red twig dogwood, there's so many great plants for you to choose from. And if you're able to find one to make your garden more interesting, please consider liking, subscribing, and ringing that notification bell so you won't miss out when I upload new content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna get inside now. It's 35 degrees and I need to get myself some warmth. Adios!